Do you sometimes not speak up for yourself or your ideas because you fear that if you did, you would be ridiculed, judged, maybe even threatened, or doing so would be too painful? I'm going to share with you a few tools and strategies that you can use right away to build up your courage so that you are able to take action despite of your fears. My name is Andrew Lawless. I am a certified high-performance coach and 2-time best-selling author. The highest performers in the world have a tremendous amount of courage. In fact, we know from science that courage is directly correlated with high performance. So it's not by accident and not by coincidence, because the people that work on their courage all the time and raise it to the next level, they tend to be more assertive, they tend to be more confident about themselves, and they're happier. Why is that? Because they have the courage and have the confidence. And at the end of the day, say, if people don't like it, no, the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter. Who cares? Do it anyway, right? It feels good. So try this. Let's get started here. And I have always Mark Twain's words in mind, who said, courage is resistance to fear. Courage is mastery of fear. It is not the absence of fear. So when you feel fear right now or about anything, that is your starting point to build up your courage. Because think about it. If you didn't have fears, you didn't need courage. This is a good example. Being in front of a camera for the most part of my life, I froze. I will show you at one point, one of the first shows that I was on a few decades ago. You will have a great laugh at that. But I didn't give up. I tried and I tried and I tried. And so what I've learned is that the more you do, not just try, but the more you do, the better you get at it, the more successful you will become. And the other side effect that I'm so happy about is, especially with my sons and my family and the people around me, my team, is that courage is contagious. So when you show courage, it rubs off on other people and their courage will lift as well. So if you don't just do it for you, do it for your children, your significant others, your family, your friends, your team, your company, your vendors, your clients, whoever can benefit from it, just do it. What the highest performers in the world have realized very early on with regard to courage is that they have to embrace the struggle. Struggle is such a core experience of being human. Think about it. When were the times in your life when you changed the most? Most likely something happened before and you struggled. You lost a loved one, and you had an illness. You lost a job, you moved, a pandemic broke out, a business closed, whatever it is, you struggled. And that struggle forced you to rise up. Bob Marley said, you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. And we all have experienced that. Maybe it was in the 2008, 2009, the global financial crisis, maybe now in the pandemic, maybe we lost a job, but you build up courage and you change the most when you have a struggle. So struggle is almost like a prerequisite for success. The second philosophy that the highest performers in the world embrace is failure. Why? Because they know that success ultimately is an outcome of good judgment. Good judgment is a result of experience. And experience very often comes from failure, right? So you can, every time you fail, you can say to yourself, you know what? I suck. I'm not so good at it. I know it. I failed. Or you can tell yourself, you know what? I'm one step closer to success. So these two philosophies, if you embrace that here and now, you already have upped your game to the next level. So congratulations. I so honor and value you that you're still listening and you're doing this. Perfect, right? Second, understand the three types of fears that you have. There are only three. Well, there's only, if you talk to Tony Robbins, there's only one, which like I will not be successful. And if I fail, I will not be loved, liked, or respected. And I take this a little bit further, and neuroscience and psychology takes it a little bit further. There are typically 3 types of fears that require us to muster all the courage that we can in order to move forward. The first fear is a fear of outcome, meaning that we believe that if we did something, if we stepped up, if we spoke up for ourselves or our ideas, the outcome wouldn't be great. So we get buy-in, but we will fail, for example, right? Or we will be ridiculed or judged or threatened, for example. The second kind of fear is process fear, meaning that the idea of going through the process of convincing people, walking people through, dealing with all the objections, brush-offs, rejection, is going to be too painful, and we don't want to do this. And the third kind of fear is fear of loss, meaning that if we did this and we are not successful, we lose a relationship, we lose the respect that we have earned, we may lose our jobs, we may lose money, whatever, but we lose something. So 3 fears: fear of outcome, so I will not get the outcome. Second, fear of process, it will be too hard to do this. And third, fear of loss, I will lose something that is relevant to me. So therefore, here is strategy and a technique, 5 questions that you can ask yourself every time you fear. If you find yourself not speaking up for yourself or your idea, first analyze what kind of fear are you dealing with. Is it outcome, process, or loss? And then write it down. So, no, I'm not taking action because I fear. Write it down. Okay? Then ask yourself 5 questions. The first question is, what is good about my fear right now? What's good about it? So fear means that you have an ability, an opportunity to rise up, to grow. You are growing, right? So if you did that and you struggled, that is your opportunity to bring yourself to the next level. If you failed, that's your next step to success. What else is good about it, right? So if you wanted to, I don't know, change your job and or quit your job to start your own business, for example, and you don't do it because you fear that you will not be able to pull this off successfully, or it's going to be too hard and your family will not support you, and you may lose your standing in the industry, whatever that is. Ask yourself, what would be good about that situation? You can always find something, right? And if it's only, you know what, I can sleep in, I can set my own schedule, or like, good is that I'm still alive, right? There's somebody in the hospital right now who's begging God for the opportunity that I have in front of me right now, and I have that opportunity. That is good. So you will always find something. First question is, what is good about the situation, or where I am right now, or what I want to do? The second question is, what will I be able to learn? What are the experiences and the learnings that I will get out of that make me a better person, that lift me up personally, professionally, maybe even financially, if I learned and mastered it? Third, what are the obstacles that you're seeing right now? So write them down. So write them all down, get it out of your system, right? Don't go and write your obstacle and then come up with a solution. I would want you to stay in the mindset where you get this all out, right? And then you ask yourself for each item that you listed, so what am I willing to do to make it the way I want it? And you write it down for each of the obstacles that you have. You write some strategies, some ideas that you can take on, so that in advance you already know, if that happens, I'm prepared. Right? So raises your level of courage tremendously. And then the fifth question is, what am I willing to not do to make it the way you want it? And that was an awkwardly phrased question, but that's on purpose. So in other words, what are the choices that you're not going to make in order to achieve your results? And you write those down. And here's the kicker. So when you think about those 5 questions, the first 2 They are really just there to get your brain into a positive mindset. You begin searching in a different part of your brain when you think about something that is good than that you've learned, instead of thinking about the problems right now. Because think about it, like at work, most of us, we think about the problems 80% of our time and only 20% about the solution. And I want you to switch this around. If more people thought more about the solution than they thought about the problem, their lives would be so much easier and they'd be able to build up courage so much faster. In my case, I think 5% about the problems, and only if it helps me to solve the problem and find a solution. So that's the first two questions, because I want you to search in different parts of the brain, so to keep you in that constructive, creative mind. Then I ask you, what's not perfect yet? And I don't know if you probably didn't have the chance to write down what's not perfect yet, but if you did it, you probably see yourself or saw yourself writing those answers in a more constructive way. I see that with my clients when I go through them for the process with them, and I ask them that third question. They're not saying anymore, I suck at so-and-so. The questions are typically, what's not perfect yet? I need to learn more about this and this. I need to do more of this or less of that. So it's solution-oriented right there, the answer from the very beginning. That's the power of the first two questions. Then we get the challenges out. The fourth question is about what you're willing to do to make it the way you want it. And that is in order to get everything out that you already know. Probably you have a fear of outcome or process or loss because you experienced something similar in the past. And you most likely had very similar strategies to address the challenges in front of you. And the reason you feel that way is a memory of the past, right? So the worst mistake you can make right now is recall that memory and make the same mistakes by employing the same strategies, techniques, and tools. So the answer, the solution to building up courage, or what you need to do, is always in the answer to the fifth question. So somewhere you'll find it, right? So I would want you to go through that. Look at what is there that you're not willing to do, what choices you're not willing to make because of fear, and then make it. Start with something small. Don't start with a big thing. Don't, max out all your credit cards because, you want to invest in Facebook ads, hoping that will drive business to you. Start small, but do something outside of your comfort zone every day. And that's my charge to you here right now, to figure out something that or a choice that you normally would not make, and now you make it. I have a client in sales who stagnated in sales, and he wanted to be at the next level. And we went through the exercise, and in the section about what are you willing to not do to make it the way you want it, he wrote down cold calls. And I said, so have you ever done cold calls? And he said, no. So, okay, great. Maybe then it's time to try it, because everything else you have tried already and it is not working. I happen to be against cold calling. It's not my thing in my team. In the context of his organization or company, that was a very appropriate thing to do. But find something that takes you out of the comfort zone every day so that you build up courage gradually. Here's why that is important. We know from people that dive, right? So you have a 1 meter board, 3 meter board, 5 meter, 10 meters. Why is that? Why are we not going to 10 right away? Because we increase our courage to jump off a higher board gradually. And the more gradually you do it, the less threatening it feels, and the faster you make progress with regard to your courage. So share with me what has worked for you, what was the most insightful piece of information that I shared, or what's your biggest learning here. Share it here. I don't know where you watch it. There will be comment boxes somewhere. Share that with me and share successes, share your struggles, and most importantly, share and stay connected. I will watch it and will interact with you when whenever I can and when it's appropriate.